Let me start politically correct this week with a frank admission. We journalists tend to revise our views and opinions every now and then, depending on the fresh information and inputs we get from time to time. And so, in this episode, I'm going to share with you my revised opinion about Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Frankly, when he took over about seven months back, we were largely dismissive. We always thought he was just another Shiv Sainik working under Thackeray's shadows. I've been watching his actions and words closely over this period. I must say I was probably underestimating him. He is turning out to be much smarter and much sharper than I thought. But before I come to Eknath Shinde, let me tell you a few things about the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos last month. Here I am quoting a report by Julia Horowitz, CNN business reporter from the ski resort town in Switzerland. She wrote, India flexes its muscles at Davos as China's star fades. R.K. Singh, India's power minister, told her, I have not had to ask for investment. Investment has just flown in. Julia found that confidence on display at the World Economic Forum. Indians who have returned from Davos talk about three things. One is, of course, R.K. Singh's valiant show at a session on interplay of food, energy and water. Andrew Ross Sorkin, the New York Times columnist and co-anchor on CNBC, was trying to corner India on the issue of oil imports from Russia. You know how sensitive the US and Europe are about engagements with Russia. I mean, after it attacked Ukraine. R.K. Singh virtually silenced Andrew Ross, citing facts and figures about India's leadership in energy transition and climate action. I'll stop imports from Russia, but let European countries do it first, R.K. Singh declared. For Indians, that was the first takeaway from Davos. The second was how Yoga Guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar took on Pakistan's junior foreign minister, Hina Rabani Khar, at a session on Renaissance of South Asia. When she alleged that, that Indian fighter jets entered Pakistani territory, she was talking about Balakot strike. So she said when Indian fighter jets entered Pakistani territory in 2019, because election had to be won. That was her remark. That those jets entered Pakistani territory because elections had to be won. Sri Sri came with all guns blazing. The entire world knows where terrorism is sprouting. Where was Osama bin Laden? Hina Rabani was, in fact, at one point of time, she was grinning from ear to ear when Sri Sri said he is not from government but from spiritual social sector. She looked determined not to engage in a verbal duel with a spiritual guru. She wanted to discuss his area of expertise, meditate for peace, as she said. Sri Sri was not to be discouraged. He kept confronting her and defending Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his policies, including the Citizenship Amendment Act. Those who have returned from Davos just can't stop talking about Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's performance there. The third memory Indians have returned with from Davos is how Maharashtra CM Eknath Shinde created a buzz at the World Economic Forum. Two other chief ministers, UP Yogi Adityanath and Karnataka's Basavaraj Bommai, and Maharashtra Deputy CM Devendra Fadnavis were supposed to attend the Davos summit. But these BJP leaders chose to attend the party's national executive in Delhi instead. Eknath Shinde, he made the best of it, inking memorandums of understanding, MOUs, worth 1.37 lakh crore. Shinde was not part of any session at Davos, yet he was the talk of the Davos town, thanks to those MOUs. So when a journalist quoted 1.37 lakh crore to him, he told him it's 137,000 crores. Sounded more impressive, didn't it? Maharashtra Pavilion, in fact, found mention in many international publications, like the Washington Post, as it was the building site that used to be the Russian pavilion. The Shinde government took that pavilion this time for Maharashtra. Back home, opposition leader Aditya Thackeray and he was alleging expenditures of 30 to 40 crores on the CM's Davos visit. But Shinde did not seem to be much bothered about the opposition's allegations. And when I met him in New Delhi last week, Shinde told me, my only aim is to make Aam Aadmi's life in Mumbai and Maharashtra better. And it will happen only through infrastructure development. You will see how my government will transform Mumbai and Maharashtra before we face voters in 2024. That was Shinde to me. In the next 35-40 minutes of our conversation, he was listing the projects he was focused on, say, for instance, access control expressway between Mumbai and Sindhudurg, completion of Mumbai Trans-Harbour Link in the next 7-8 months, Nagpur-Goa corridor, Pune-Nasik Industrial Corridor, and so on and so forth. And when should we expect to land in Mumbai? I was asking, when he was listing all these projects, I just asked him. And when should we expect to land in Mumbai without worrying about the hours that we will be spending on in traffic snarl-ups? I asked. Shinde was oozing with confidence. It will be much better before the next election. He responded, again listing what his government has been doing for Mumbai's decongestion. So the government is exploring the option of double-story tunnels under traffic intersections, expediting metro work that will take 50 to 60 lakh cars off the road, as Shinde said. Then the government is expediting Mumbai's coastal road, etc., etc. At a time when everyone is looking at the fight over Bal Thackeray's political legacy between Shinde's and Thackeray's Shiv Senas, the Maharashtra CM is working on his own branding as an administrator. He was in the Fadnavis cabinet and then in the Thackeray cabinet, but he remained just another Shiv Sainik under Thackeray family's shadow. But as the chief minister now, he is coming into his own. Or so it seems from the way he talks about governance, keeping aside questions on politics. It's easier to dismiss his vision for Maharashtra with the argument that many of the infrastructure projects he is talking today were conceived or initiated during the Fadnavis or Uddhav government. The fact is, Shinde was overseeing most of these projects. First as Public Works Minister, who headed the MSRDC or Maharashtra State Road Transport Corporation during the Fadnavis government. That is Public Works, public undertaking portfolio, in fact. He also had the urban development portfolio then. And later on as Public Works Minister in the Uddhav-led government. Even as the Chief Minister, he is keeping this Public Works, public undertaking and urban development portfolios himself. It was during his tenure as Maharashtra's Public Works Minister. I'm talking about 95-99 when Gadkari was there. So it was in that tenure that Gadkari came to national limelight as the infra man of India, who was behind much acclaimed Mumbai-Pune Expressway and many other infrastructure projects. As Public Works Minister since 2014, Shinde can also claim credit for Mumbai-Nagpur Expressway and other infra projects, even if Fadnavis was the brain behind many of them. So what does Shinde's infra focus tell us about his politics today? That he is not going to be overshadowed by Fadnavis, who is perceived to be the man behind the wheel in Maharashtra government, and that Shinde is not getting weighed down under the cries of betrayal from Uddhav Thackeray camp. He is not going to be weighed down by the tussle to gain the Shiv Sena symbol and loyalty of the Shiv Sainiks. The CM is busy showcasing his own administrative skill and vision for Maharashtra. The Election Commission is likely to take a decision on the Sena's symbol shortly. This is obviously important for Shinde to keep his flock together and wean away others from Uddhav Thackeray's camp. The symbol is also important for his faction, the Balasaheb Bharatiya Shiv Sena, in the coming BMC election. Shinde is now working on a plan as he braces himself for all eventualities. He has largely deputed organizational work to 5 of his colleagues, including Rahul Sewale, Deepak Kesarkar, Dada Bhushi, Uday Samant and Abdul Sattar. They are largely looking at the organizational matters on day-to-day basis. Shinde is not bringing his own parliamentarian son, Srikant, a bright young leader in fact, to the forefront. When you fight against dynasts, you don't promote your own. While Shiv Sainiks are in a dilemma over their loyalty to Uddhav or Shinde, Shinde is showcasing his governance model to swing their mind. Unlike Uddhav Thackeray, who is seen as inaccessible, Shinde keeps his doors open to the Sainiks. He is now working on a plan to empower the Shakhas and make them the intermediaries between the people and the government. I'm talking about Shiv Sena Shakhas. If somebody has any demands or grievance from the government, the local Shiv Sena office will be a single window mechanism for their redressal. If Shiv Sainiks found Thackeray's and their government distant, Shinde wants to be in their midst and make his government accessible to them. If Thackeray's have blood relations to claim Bala Saheb's legacy, Shinde wants to showcase his work and vision to claim the same. In the process, he is also projecting himself as independent, not someone who is hanging on to Fadnavis's coattails, which many of his allies and detractors would have the people believe. Whether Shinde succeeds or not will depend on how much he is able to deliver on his promise to change Aam Aadmi's life in the next 20 months or so. Shiv Sena has never had a Gadkari of its own. Shinde as Gadkari too is an idea that will make both Uddhav and Fadnavis sit up and take notice. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.